I need you to imagine something. You have been working on a project for 2 years. Nights, weekends, every spare moment spent turning your thoughts into words, your knowledge into something structured. Then one day, you wake up and realize it's done. Your book, your story. And for a moment, you don't move because it doesn't feel real. This video is about how I got to that moment 3 times. But more importantly, it's about everything that almost stopped me from getting there. It's not like a blog post. You can just write and see where it takes you. A book needs structure, a clear direction. It has to stand out among the thousands already out there. I remember staring at my notes, feeling completely lost. What was missing from the books I had read? What could I add that no one else had? Every decision felt like a trap. Should I go technical or conceptual? Should I plan everything or just writing? Paralysis. That's where most people stop. But then I found a way out. The first breakthrough came when I discovered mind maps. Writing a book is like solving a giant puzzle, and mind maps help me visualize all the pieces. I started mapping out topics, breaking them into sections, and linking related concepts. I didn't hold any idea, even the dumbest one. I wanted to visualize everything I had in my mind and evaluate every single idea one by one. Mind mapping gave me a roadmap, a sense of control over the chaos of ideas swirling in my head. But it wasn't just about organization. Mind maps helped me see the gaps, the missing links in my thinking, the weak connections. They forced me to ask better questions. And in doing so, they gave me the confidence to move forward, knowing that my ideas had a solid foundation. I started with the smallest thing, a diagram, an intro, even just a bullet point. Anything to move forward. I didn't start from the first chapter. I picked a section that felt easy and built momentum from there. Every day, one paragraph. Some days, words flowed. Others, I stared at the screen, second-guessing everything. Writing in English as a non-native speaker, brutal. Every sentence felt like a battle. I wasn't just writing, I was translating my thoughts into something readable. Would people understand me? Was my message strong enough? To keep going, I had a system. Evenings, focus mode, writing, no distractions, one window, my chapter. By my second book, I thought I had the process figured out. I was wrong. 4 chapters from the finish line, self-doubt crushed. Was the content strong enough? Would it hold up in real world? Was I just repeating what others had already said? Instead of pushing through, I took 4 extra months to validate my ideas. I tested my architectural designs with multiple companies. Real world feedback. Real challenges. Real proof. Because in the end, every doubt, every revision, every moment I wanted to quit, it's not wasted time. That's where the learning lives. When you write a book about a new architecture, it isn't just about diagrams. You need to think also about creating a vocabulary, finding the right words for ideas that don't yet exist, is extremely hard. Weeks were spent testing terms, checking if they made sense, if they would guide teams rather than confuse them. Slowly, those words became a language. I would say a framework others could use to reason about microfrontends. Then came the most rewarding moment. Developers and architects started using the language themselves, in conversation, in design decisions, in the real world. It wasn't just a book anymore. It was shaping how people think, communicate, and build. A book is never truly done. The moment that you think you have written the final words, more hard work begins. Editors will dissect every idea, questioning your assumptions, challenging your reasoning. What seemed clear in your mind suddenly isn't. Sentences you were proud of get rewritten, entire sections reshaped. Deadlines loom over you, forcing discipline, testing your patience. You tell yourself you will finish a chapter in a month. Then reality hits. The structure needs tweaking. A concept feels weak. Maybe a feedback demands a second, a third, or even a fourth revision. Every critique is a reality check. Every rewrite an evolution. The book you started is not the book you will publish. If you push through, if you embrace the discomfort, you will watch your work transform into something far better than you imagined. There were days when I was completely stuck, unable to phrase an idea, staring at a half-written paragraph that refused to take shape. Some sentences felt clunky. Some thoughts remained tangled in my mind, and no matter how much I rewrote them, they never sounded right. That's when AI became a quiet collaborator. Not one that writes for you, but one that listens. It helped me reshape my thoughts, refine my words, and smooth out the rough edges of my writing. Sometimes it was as simple as suggesting a better way to structure a sentence. Other times it felt like having a second brain, one that could pull me out of creative blocks and keep me moving forward. It won't wrestle with complex ideas. That part is still yours to own. The thinking, the struggle, the raw emotions that turn words into something meaningful. That cannot be automated. AI isn't a magic wand. It won't write for you. It just helps when you hit a wall. And there will be walls more than once. Be aware of that. Holding your book for the first time is absolutely unreal. You remember the nights you almost quit, the drafts you deleted, the pages you rewrote until they finally said what you meant. For years, this lived only in your head. Now it has weight, edges, something real you can hold. It's not about finishing a project, it's about crossing a line you weren't sure you could cross. Writing a book rarely makes you richer. Most days, it asks a lot from you. Time, energy, patience. At some point, you stop trying to sound smart. You start writing to understand. And that's when you notice how fragile some ideas are. How many opinions fall apart when faced with a blank page. It's very uncomfortable. But it's where the writing starts to feel true. Over time, you stop overthinking. You stop trying to fit everything in. You leave some things unsaid. Not because you know less, but because you finally know what matters.
Look at the diagram translated. It's insane.
That clarity doesn't stay on the page, it changes how you explain, how you teach, how you think out loud with others. What you don't expect is how far it goes. One day, you see your book referenced by someone you never met. They are using it to solve a problem you once faced. It feels, I would say, strange, almost surreal. The ideas start moving without you, through teams, through conversations you will never be part of.
I'm very excited to be on the stage today because it's the first time that I'm delivering this talk. And to be honest, it's also very challenging because I'm trying to summarize in 2 years of work in 30 minutes.
And in that moment, you realize that was never about being seen. It's about remembering someone at the very beginning, trying to make sense of ideas in a language that wasn't his own, learning late at night after long days of work, and realizing that he kept going only because others chose to share what they knew. So, if something you struggled to understand for years can now make a difference for someone like him, that's what makes it worth it. If there is one thing you will take from this video, let be this: start. Even if you don't feel ready, even if you don't know if it's good enough, even if there aren't people believing it will be a masterpiece. Because here's the truth: the person you are today is capable of writing a book, but the person you become by writing it, that person will become unstoppable. Write your book, because I promise you, one day you will hold it. Your book, your story, and for a moment, you won't move because it doesn't feel real.